弥陀佛。
南无大悲观世音菩萨。
南无大悲观世音菩萨。
Okay, so 大家好，早安。
早安。
So good morning, everybody. And so today we will celebrate the renunciation of Guanyin Bodhisattva. So I will speak first. I will give my talk in English, and then afterwards I will give the talk in Chinese. So 我先用英文开始，然后用中文开始，好不好？ Okay.
太好了。
Okay, so we speak of Guanyin Bodhisattva. And so what is a Bodhisattva? A Bodhisattva is a person who has made the firm vow to become a fully enlightened Buddha. And in Chinese Mahayana Buddhism, there are 4 Bodhisattvas who are most highly venerated. So these 4 are first the Manjushri, who is the Bodhisattva of great wisdom, Samantabhadra, the Bodhisattva of great conduct or great practice, Kshitigarbha, who is the Bodhisattva of great vows, and then Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of great compassion. And Avalokiteshvara is the Sanskrit name which has been translated into Chinese. In a Buddha, these 4 qualities of great wisdom, great compassion, great practice, great vows, are all perfectly combined. So that is what makes this person a perfectly enlightened Buddha, bringing into harmony these 4 qualities. But Bodhisattvas specialize in one quality or another. And the specialty of Guanyin Bodhisattva is compassion, great compassion. So that's why we say, Dabe Guanyin, Guanyin, the Bodhisattva of great compassion. So the name Guanyin means one who contemplates sounds, or sometimes the name is given as Guanyin, means one who contemplates the sounds of the world. So why is Guanyin called by this name? It's said because Guanyin directs her mind to listen to the cries of suffering arising from the world. So every day throughout the world, billions and billions of beings are undergoing suffering, many undergoing severe suffering, disaster, calamity, great misery. And so if they hear of Guanyin Bodhisattva and they single-mindedly focus their minds on her and recite her name, then it is said Guanyin will perceive their cries and help to deliver them from suffering. So today's ceremony celebrates the renunciation of Guanyin Bodhisattva. And in Chinese, the expression used for renunciation is chu jia, which literally means to leave home. And this expression has a profound meaning. So usually when we hear the expression to leave home or chu jia, you think it simply means that you give up the household life in order to become ordained as a monk or a nun. But that is only part of the meaning. There is a still deeper meaning that we have to understand. So from the deeper point of view, the home in which we are living is not just a house and a family, but it is the home of samsara, the home of the cycle of birth and death. And because we have been attached to this home, our home of samsara, through time without beginning, again and again, we are going through the cycle, taking birth, growing old, dying, and meeting suffering over. And so in these sutras, the Buddha says that during our time in samsara, we have shed more tears than the water in the ocean. And as we've been killed and slaughtered and murdered, we've shed more blood than the water in the ocean. And so during our time wandering from birth to death and from death to new birth in samsara, the amount of suffering, dukkha, that we've experienced is inconceivable. We have no way to imagine it in our mind. The Buddha says that the reason that we revolve around in the cycle of birth and death is because of our craving and attachment. So people become attached to their wife, to the husband, to their children. They become attached to their money, their property, their position, power, fame, and status. And it's so, once you become attached to these things, it's so hard to let go of them. That is why we remain. The reason, the Buddha says, that we form these attachments is because of our ignorance, our delusions, our illusions. And through our illusions, we build up this false home, the home of impermanence, of samsara, of birth and death, which we grasp and become attached to that home. But that home is a false home, insecure home, unreliable, undependable. But beyond this false home of birth and death, there is our true home, this really secure home, and that is the home of nirvana, the state of perfect bliss and freedom. But to arrive at our true home, we have to cut off craving. We have to eliminate ignorance. We have to remove our defilements, the defilements of the mind. And so one leaves home, one leaves behind the false home of birth and death in order to take up the practice that will lead us to our true home, the home that is beyond birth and death. And so that is the deeper meaning of monastic ordination, of leaving home. One leaves home not merely to perform ceremonies and rituals, not merely to receive respect and offerings, but one leaves home in order to cultivate the Buddha's path without being bound by the obstacles of the household life, of the worldly life. And so one leaves home to be free from the thousands and thousands of troubles faced when we are living at home in the world. And so that was the act of renunciation that Guanyin undertook many, many aeons ago. It said that Guanyin left home in order to cultivate the path. And having left home, she took up the precepts of a homeless person, a mendicant, a bhikshuni. Having left home, she cultivated developed insight, cultivated wisdom, and then with her wisdom, she broke through the thick mass of ignorance and delusion and eliminated her defilements. And so in this way, she entered the world-transcending Bodhi path and became a great Bodhisattva who had made great vows to rescue from suffering all of the beings, the miserable beings in the world, attached and bound to birth and death. And that is the essence of Guanyin Bodhisattva, the heart of great compassion. It's said in the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Huayan Jing, that the essence of Buddhahood is the heart of great compassion, Maha Karuna. And Guanyin is the Bodhisattva of vast and great compassion. And so therefore, if we want to follow in the footsteps of Guanyin, it's necessary not only to worship Guanyin, not only to recite the name of Guanyin, but to follow the example of Guanyin by practicing great compassion. Okay, so that is the talk in English. Now I will try to speak in Chinese. Okay. 在佛法中，一个人发愿成佛，就成为菩萨。在大乘佛法中，有四位菩萨最受尊敬。大者文殊师利菩萨、大行普贤菩萨、大愿大悲观世音菩萨。在佛陀身上，这四种功德圆满的结合，当菩萨或者或那各有所长。今天我们要清楚的是，大悲观世音菩萨的出家。观音的名字意思是观听音声的人，或者观世音是观听世间音声的人。为什么称为观音？因为他的心观听世间痛苦的音声。每一天有数以百万的众生受诸苦恼。如果他们闻观世音名号，并一心称名，观世音即是观其音声，往生救苦。今天的法会纪念观音菩萨的出家。出家意味离家，具有深刻的含义。通常我们认为出家的意思仅仅是设立在家的生活，剃度成为出家众，但是这是一部分的意思而已。我们所居住的家，不仅是一个房子、一个家庭而已，而是生死轮回之家。由于我们无者以来这座轮回的家，因此一再一再的出生、变老、遭遇苦痛。佛陀说，我们在轮回中所有的泪水，必得 海水太多，所流的水比大海水还多，这么多的苦，真是不可思议。佛陀说，我们因可爱和执着而沦为，我们执着妻子、丈夫、儿女、金钱、地位、权利、名誉，难以启齿，难以启齿。因为无明，我们形成接触，因此居住在一个作物的家、不安稳的家、无常上升的家。当时超越这个作物的轮回之家，是我们真正的家，涅槃安稳的家，是圆满快乐自在的状态。要抵达我们真正的家，必须断除可爱，灭除无明。所以，我们离开作物的家，我们上色中的家，为的是要修行，通往真正的家。这是出家的更深的含义。进入了出家的生活，不是仅仅做法为仪式而已，是以没有在家生活的障碍来修学佛道。出家人为了免于在家人所面对的上千的麻烦而出家，因此观世音菩萨出家，为了修学佛道，出家之后受戒，成为无家之人。他修禅定，修观，修慧，以为破无明和愚痴，灭除烦恼。如此，他坚持进入出世间菩提道，而成为一位大菩萨。华严经上说道，大悲心是成佛的要素，观世音是悲心广大的菩萨。因此，如果我们想跟随观世音菩萨的脚步，我们不仅要礼拜观世音，还要在世间大悲上追随观世音菩萨。我们现在发问开始，谢谢。
Please stand up. 好，礼谢会长开始。
To Bande, thanks for Bande's Dharma talk.